Hi everybody and welcome to another Fast Foundations, and today I'm going to be answering the question of whether you can layer your corsets one on top of the other. And just as a side note here, I am wearing a corset underneath here, my Madame Sher cincher, so I'm stealthing at the moment, but in a few minutes I will not be so much stealthing. One person was asking if it's possible to wear two real corsets one on top of the other, the way that they heard that Jessica Alba had done with her double corset. I think Jessica Alba had actually used two of those stretch latex girdles instead of actual corsets. It is technically possible to layer one real corset on top of the other. However, I don't see the real reason that you would want to do that unless, say, you had an overbust corset or a long corset and then you wanted to wear like a really short yoke or a tiny waspy over top of it as an accent piece. I know people like Electra Designs specifically makes custom yokes that can be laced over pre-existing corsets just as a bit of decoration in that respect. But if you feel that you need actually more control by wearing two corsets, then the corset you have is not doing its job properly, and that would be time to invest in a stronger corset, perhaps a custom-made corset that will pull you in the way that you want to. But I don't really see the functional benefit of wearing two corsets one on top of the other. Another question posed to me recently was somebody was looking at some old photographs and fashion plates and noticed that some Victorian women seem to be wearing corsets on top of their dresses instead of underneath. And was that popular, or were they being avant-garde at the time? Most likely those women were not wearing corsets on top of their dresses, but actually Swiss waists. So it might have been boned to add a little bit of structure and keep it smooth over the bodice. However, it was not quite as heavy duty a garment as the corset. So it was most likely used as just an accent to their outfit. So as a little experiment, I have this sort of modern version of the Swiss waist or the Swiss belt where it has the accented diamond piece, and this is elastic. So what I really like about this is that it doesn't matter how much or how little you feel like cinching that day, you can still actually show off and accent your corseted waist with something like this. So if you are self-conscious about showing your corset in public, or if you're of the opinion that corsets should be treated as underwear instead of worn over your clothing, then you can still use something like this or another sort of wide elasticated belt that is generally considered as overwear today to show off your tiny waist without actually showing off your corset per se. So this is what the modern Swiss waist or Swiss belt looks like when worn over this outfit, and you can see that it pretty much instantaneously changes the whole look and the feel of this outfit and accents the silhouette of my corset underneath. So I ordered this in the smallest size possible, which I believe was in the range of 23 or 25 inch natural waist. So when I'm wearing it over my size 22 inch corsets and to have a shirt on top of it, it has enough bulk that it still stretches over it. However, if you are lacing to say size 18, you might have to take this in a little bit. So this is made from vegan leather, and it has elastic on the sides here. I think it's a 5-inch wide elastic, and then it just attaches in the back with a strip of Velcro there. So even if you don't feel like buying this, it's really easy to make by yourself if you wanted to. However, this was a really good deal, so I decided, oh, why not try it? And I actually really like how it accents some of my other outfits. Another thing that I would like to point out is many dresses, both existing in the Victorian times and in the 1950s, had some boning in the bodice to keep it straight and keep it smooth on your body, keep it from rolling up, because even if you were wearing a structured corset underneath, there's a possibility that the outer fabric can actually wrinkle on your body. So if you wanted a really pristine look, then you would use boning, such as the boning in here, to really keep it smooth and in place on your body. However, it won't be as structured as a real corset, and if you were to wear a dress like this without a corset underneath, it won't give you the same silhouette and the same fit. And magical costume change. So the third question that I got that was sort of related to this topic was whether you can buy one really good quality underbust corset and use it as foundation wear under some cheaper fashion corsets or bustiers over top. And yes, absolutely. I've seen a lot of people do this at conventions. Pretty much every costume shop out there has relatively cheap plastic boned fashion corsets or bustiers, especially in, say, Wonder Woman theme or Catwoman theme. And so if you are not willing to invest, a few $100s in getting a themed, well-fitting overbust corset that actually, is a real corset in itself, then it is technically possible to use one of those cheap fashion corsets or bustiers and wear something a little bit more structured underneath. So right now I am wearing the only plastic boned fashion corset I have left in my collection. So I'm wearing it with a Madame Sher cincher underneath, like I mentioned before, and it is actually insanely more comfortable than wearing this fashion corset by itself, because as I showed in a previous video, when I wear it by itself, the boning tends to kink in the sides and actually poke into me, and it's left marks on me before, so it's not that comfortable. However, when I wear it with a real corset underneath, it actually smooths out properly and it actually improves the shape of this as well. So I would have no problem, say, wearing this to a concert. Even though it's layered, it's a mesh corset underneath, it's breathable, and I am even comfortable sitting here in like over 30-degree weather right now. One important thing to note though is that a lot of fashion corsets and bustiers are not actually sewn to have a dramatic hourglass shape to it. So if you lay smaller than the actual waist of the fashion corset, you're going to have to take it in on the sides. And there's a possibility that you might have to add more boning to make sure that it lies smoothly over your real corset. Even though this particular fashion corset is lying pretty smoothly over my real corset in the front and the sides, in the back it's pretty much a disaster. So don't expect your fashion corset to be picture perfect and look like a real corset from all angles. Thankfully, I have my long hair that I can just, let it down and hide the back. So just be aware that not every corset and fashion corset or bustier is going to be compatible when you put them together. So do some experimentation. So I hope this has effectively answered your questions on the layering of corsets and other bone structures. So just as a recap, a double corset is not a real corset. It is a girdle or shapewear or one of those latex cinchers. This is not a real corset. It's a Swiss waist or Swiss belt, and this can be worn on top of your clothing, even in the Victorian times, while a real corset in the Victorian times would be underneath your clothing. Many dresses today and in the 50s and in Victorian times had boning in it, but it's not meant to be a corset in and of itself. You still need to wear a corset underneath it to give it the right silhouette, and the boning here is to make it lie flat over top of your corset. And it is totally possible to wear fashion corsets, plastic boned bodices, and bustiers over top of your regular corset, and it might actually improve the look and actually feel more comfortable. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please remember to click that like button, help support the channel. I'll see you next week for another corset review. Bye!